Of our own. Indeed, he's an accomplished professional. He is a Methodist, worships at Mount Olivet Society in the 𝗠𝗠𝗠𝗠 circuit in the Accra Diocese. So we thank Accra Diocese for giving us such a rich human resource. He is an associate professor in biomedical engineering at the University of Ghana. He has degrees in computer engineering, biomedical engineering, and material science and engineering. His research focuses on the study of human motion. His work emphasizes the translation of fundamental research into practical applications that addresses global health challenges, especially in resource-limited environments such as ours. He also runs IT firms that manages IT infrastructure in medical facilities. So brothers and sisters, we are blessed to have, this is just a summary of his profile. The profile is so extensive that it will take you a whole day to read about him. And so this morning, without much ado, I would like to welcome our own brother, Professor 𝗖𝗢𝗨, he's very particular about the 𝗖𝗢𝗨, chairman of the CPD advisory team, and therefore very well pleased to share with us what we need to know about technology. So let's give him a round of applause as he takes over and walks us through. So this is your audience. We are ready for you. Thank you very much.
All right. Good morning, everybody. And thank you so much, Mr. 𝗖𝗢𝗨𝗡𝗖𝗓, for this honor. I believe that such opportunities don't come easily, and I don't take it lightly. So in the next 30 minutes, I would want to take you on a very short journey. I hope it is not too technical, and I believe that it will stimulate some form of conversation that can get all of us thinking about how to exploit AI in the current scheme of things that we see. So to do that, I have put together this presentation where I will start by looking at giving some introduction, and of course, I would want to talk about what it is. What is this whole buzz about? What is AI and how it means in terms of its practicality? After that, I will give some key concepts. You would see that today, at least before you leave here, you should take away at least what it means in terms of the different things that people are doing to further this new technology. Then the next, I think on the slide, if you can change it, is going into actually how AI is being used right now and how or what it means to us as a church, and then where it will go in the future. And then I will conclude and then open up for some questions. Next slide. All right. So here, because we can't see it, I want to read. I opened this by saying that in an increasingly digital world, the church stands at a crossroads between tradition and innovation. We cannot run away from it. Whether you like it or yes, it is coming. In fact, it has come, and very soon it will enter the church. So whether we like it or yes, we need to be prepared, and we need to start having the conversation that how can we exploit such a technology so that we are not left behind. So this talk will examine how AI and internet technologies can become powerful tools for strengthening Christian faith, fostering deeper fellowship, and securing the church's future in the digital age. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that where we are now, we are in the age of what is called the digital natives. In fact, they're giving them names now, telling them that those people that were born in the digital age do not understand anything but digital. They want to stay on their machines. They want to stay on their phones. How do we exploit this as a church? This is the conversation that we want to have, and I believe that by the time we are over, some interesting ideas will come to us. Yeah, next slide. So, the digital transformation that we are talking about today is something that has happened before, where there was a big jump from the normal to the new. Example is when the age of, or what they call the printing revolution. Before that, books or information were written by specialists. Can you imagine that you had all these books that were available were written on manuscripts, and there were special people who actually wrote these things, right? Then they said, no, this is too tedious, this is too difficult to manage. What do we do? Then some German goldsmith thought about it and said, no, we need to change the narrative and make it more easier so that we can, because a lot of people have so much information that they wanted to share, but they were limited by the process of conveying that information by writing it on these manuscripts. So then he invented the printing press, and boom, the number of books that were published from 1440 to now exploded in just an instant. This is similar to what is happening today. Before, good messages in some village somewhere in Ghana could never find its way to the city or to anybody living in the city. If you heard of any good pastor who preached the word very powerfully, you needed to either travel to where he is to at least get that good message. But today, through internet, just one person recording it and sharing it online, we can all have access to it. So, whether we like it or yes, we cannot be left behind. The church cannot be averse to it. The internet is giving us some good things and good platforms to carry our messages, but it is the age of AI. Not what it was before in terms of internet. If you thought internet is changing certain things, then I can bet you AI will change a lot of things. And this is what we want to think about. So we want to think about how do we exploit this technology to extend, not to replace. AI cannot replace, it can extend. We should be comfortable with that, because I think one of the things that's affecting the church, and different surveys have shown, most churches, and in fact coming from the pastors, say AI is not something you don't want to even think about. But as we go along, you'll see that it is not that bad. In fact, it is creeping everywhere. We in academia are now accepting that if you give an assignment, AI will do it for them. How do you make sure that the AI or the solutions they bring to you are not something that they got online, but rather they thought about, right? So these are things that we need to look at and make sure that we we take advantage of what this is bringing to us. Next slide. All right. So what is AI? At least, I mean, we should leave here having a common understanding of what AI is. To answer that, one would have to go back and think about those who started this thing called AI. What were they thinking? In simple terms, and it is scary, they wanted to build machines that could think like human beings. Full stop. How can we build machines that can think like you and I, so that if you're not there, a machine can do your work? This is the reality. This is where they wanted to get to. Of course, it was a big jump. So it started way back in the 1400s, And they moved along until 1951, 52, when they said, okay, we know we can't get a human machine or humanoid, but at least we can exploit the idea of giving enough information to a computer for it to help us get information. So what AI is essentially is, how do we have a machine that can have artificial intelligence? So this is not natural intelligence like you and I have, but artificial. And this is what is stimulating all this buzz and fear and joy, because there are mixed feelings. There are those who love what is happening, and there are those who just don't want to listen to it, right? In fact, I watched a movie recently on Netflix, and what they were saying, in fact, the movie is about now, through the use of AI, this is about a couple that wanted to have a baby, but the wife was busy, couldn't have the baby. She's working, she's being promoted, she doesn't want to have the baby. So she goes to the hospital, and they tell her, okay, now they have actually an artificial womb that you can put the baby in there and not worry about it. They also have, they program the womb to be able to actually stimulate the woman's feelings and emotions through this womb. And this was scary. Can we get there? No. But we never, well, and now as it is, we can't. But it is not something that's far-fetched, right? When the internet, before it started, they talked about how it could be a system that would connect the whole world, and people brushed it off. But today, it is entering everywhere in our lives. So we shouldn't, these are things that are scary, but also people have realized that if this is not checked, we might have something that we cannot control. So there are people working seriously on what they call ethical AI. So before we move on to I talk about this, AI is having or creating a machine that can think like a human being. So what does that, how do they achieve that? Essentially, the data that you and I generate. So you go online, you want to buy something, you choose, you select, you click on different options available, and then the computer stores all that information. They feed it to a machine or a programming language which is capable of learning all the trends in there of how you behave when you sit behind the computer, and then they will use that to help you take a decision, right? So whether you like it or you don't like it, whenever you go online, you are helping feed the AI ecosystem to make it easy for you to do stuff. Okay, so now it's getting to a point where AI will now even try to, or it's even there, it's not that it's getting to a point, it's even there that AI can allow you, or can sometimes sense how you're feeling and try to give you messages of encouragement. This is happening. We can't do anything about it, right? And so we need to be, rather than fight it, try to see how this technology can help us do different things in an ethical way. There are different, you would hear out there, there are different aspects of AI. So having said that, AI essentially is making a computer think like a human being, then there are different aspects to it. So you hear machine learning. Machine learning, what is machine learning? Essentially, machine learning is one aspect of AI that focuses on developing all the programs. Because you see, first of all, AI needs some data to be able to train the machine. The software that is capable of learning the data to understand how, to get important information from it is under the topic machine learning. Okay, so Machine learning, essentially, you see when you go out there, and what the AI engineers are doing is essentially, for example, let me give a practical example. In my lab at the University of Ghana, what we do is we want to understand how people walk. So there are different ways that people walk, and we've seen over the years that different people growing up in different environments have different ways of walking. What is our goal? Our goal is, can we study such information so that in the event that you get injured, you get sick, stroke, or an accident, knee problem, and you are not able to walk well, and you go to the hospital and they want to rehabilitate you so that you can come back to your normal self, we need to understand, how do you walk normally, and how, now that you are walking with an impairment, we can compare and track your progress. Okay, so this is what we do in my lab. Now, currently what we're doing, or before AI, we needed to sit down and run a lot of statistical models to be able to get some information to guide you. Today, we don't have to do that. Give that data to the AI comes up with the trends, and then we can use it. Are you following? So this, to me, if you tell me AI is not good, I don't understand what you're saying, because it is making my work easier than it used to be. This is what AI is about, making your work very easy. And that is what I think we want to go into. There's some AI that's learning how to recognize speech. So very soon now, you go online, and Google has all the translators for 1,000 languages, because people, all they need is to hear people talk, hear people do different things, and then they can now sense it. So speech recognition, now they know if you speak now, they can tell where you're from. If you type certain things in any language, AI can help us. Imagine. And you'll see how such a technology is helping churches in different jurisdictions, right? And very soon I'll show you that. So these are some real-life applications. We've all know at some point that if you have any Apple device, there's an application called Siri that you can ask questions and he'll give you answers. So you go online and ask Siri, hello Siri, how is the weather like today? And it will give you all the information that about the weather for the current day. How is what do you think I can eat around 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗖𝗓? And AI, surprisingly, will scan and give you all the popular joints that you have at 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗖𝗓. This is happening. It is not far-fetched. It is something that you can try if you have Siri or an Apple device. Google has its own Alexa. Alexa is from Amazon, actually. Alexa is Amazon, and Amazon's version of Siri is Alexa. And then Google also has its own called Google Assistant. So these are applications that they usually call virtual assistants. And so essentially it's helping you do things. If you program it well, in fact now it's even customizable to your needs. So if you program it and say, today, in the past, in fact you're getting there where PAs are no more needed, because if you tell your assistant, book my meeting for the next 1 week, it will book it, and you don't have to deal with any human being. It's coming, it's here. E-commerce. In fact, in healthcare, like I said, it's doing different things. Of course, to do high-level surgeries and all that, we still need the humans. However, to aid in the administration. So when you, like I said, in my lab, what we are doing, and we are working with the Legon Hospital, the physiotherapy department, to build models, simple models, that allows the physiotherapist to carry out his duty efficiently. So before, if you are sick and you go to the, let's say stroke patients, we work with a lot of stroke patients. If you're sick and you get stroke and you are rehabilitating, you go there. Currently, what they do is you perform some exercise, over time, and then they tell you to walk. And as you walk, they see with their eyes engaged. They're experienced, no point about that. And then they say, okay, you are on level 1, you are level 2, you are level 3, right? But a recent study we did with them showed that even though the person is walking, the way his hip is moving is off. The way his knee is moving is off. The way his ankle is moving is way off. And so with such technologies, we can guide the way that they administer their work. It's in e-commerce. We see that in automobiles now. There's companies like Tesla are pushing that we have automobiles that drive themselves. This is happening, right? And also we see recommendation systems. So the one I talked about, where when you go online and the way you select things, the sites you visit and all of that, AI will help you. So when you go online now and you type anything in Google, the suggestions it gives to you is because of such systems called recommendation systems. Next. Right? And then there are the ones that are used, or productivity tools. Today, if you want to write a letter to insult your boss, AI can write it for you. If you want to write a letter to say, I want to resign, and in your resignation, tell AI, in my resignation, tell my boss mean things, painful things, AI will write it for you. So it is happening. It's you can't do without it. But on a more positive note, in the past, from basic school, we're taught how to write letters, the different kinds of letters and all of that. Now, teachers are thinking differently, because all these things, you can get it online. A good one, all you need to do is put in the specific things that are unique to your needs, and you are gone, right? So ChatGPT, DeepSeek. Now, it is possible to say, my car, if you have a car and you hear a certain sound coming from any part of the car, you type it in AI, AI will give you how to do first fix before you take it to your mechanic. Now, AI can also help you to actually diagnose the problem, so that when you go to your mechanic, he won't tell you that you have to change gaskets, when actually it's just water that you have to change. So AI can guide you in some of these things, right? So we need to be abreast with it. For those of us in academia, we exploit tools like Google Copilot. In the past, if I wanted to write any research paper, I had to read minimum 40 papers, minimum, to even get one work out. Today, I go to Google Copilot and say, summarize all the papers on this particular topic. In 5 minutes, I have my summary. Right? Then I add my human touch to it, the knowledge I have, and then I produce my paper. So what is it going to do for me? It is going to help me write more papers, and also give me more knowledge. Because I can't read. In fact, every year, the whole world produces a minimum of 11 million papers. How can you catch up? In our field, you cannot follow these things. And so these things come as a way of helping us in our field. Grammarly. So English teachers, before you write any article, you take it to them, they'll cancel it with all the red pen. Today, after I write all my bad English, I give it to Grammarly, correct the English for me. In 5 minutes, it gives me a perfect work. So it is not bad, because at least the idea is from the student. It's just that he doesn't know how to communicate it well. So Grammarly, tools like Grammarly will help you do that. The last one for those of us in the research, I say, we see that From literature review right to writing the article, there are so many tools that you can't even think of. In fact, to do presentations now, before to teach a 1-hour course in any university, you need a minimum, and even that is, it means you are an expert in the field. You need to sit down and prepare for 8 hours. That's the minimum. So, you know, I know people say, oh, lectures, when they go one, they teach for 2 hours, you are done for the day. No, because the preparation alone is like 60 hours before you go and teach a 2-hour course, right? So what I'm saying here is, today, I don't need to, because now you need to get the information and now put it in, prepare some slides. Now, all I need is to get my information, give it to the AI app. It generates it in 5 minutes. I'm off to go, right? So these are good things. Next. So there are some, as I said, it's we need to take care. It's not, it can be used in a negative way. So we need to be careful. So different things, the biases. Now, obviously, AI is limited because AI is developed and gets its power from the information we produce to you. So if the information I produce to you is not good, maybe I'm lying about the information, then AI will also learn the lie and give you a lie as an answer, right? So these are things that we need to be careful about. Data protection, sometimes the data is like medical data, you can't just give it to anybody. So even though I have good medical data that somebody can use in Nigeria, I need to be careful. I can't just give it to them because of data protection. And also, who owns the data, who owns these applications so that people can use it in a bad way. These are ethical considerations here. Next. So now, the interesting part for you and I is what the role of AI in the church today. First, next slide. We look at ministry tools. What are people using AI for now? Next slide. So first is AI as a tool is now being used for personalized discipleship. So there are apps now called AI Bibles that allows you to actually do or connect with the Bible in ways that used to be very difficult in the past. So now you have these apps that can tell you everything about the Bible. Give me prayers of Bible verses that support emotional difficulty. Bible verses that support success in any endeavor that you want to undertake, and AI will do it for you. So as a ministry tool for personal development, AI-enabled Bibles are now available that will allow you to develop yourself as a disciple of Jesus Christ. Next. Now, pastoral care. AI, so there's an app called AI, Pastors AI. It's a tool that converts church sermons and videos into chatbots. What that means is that now, with this app, pastor finishes his preaching, people have questions, they are confused. This app is able to be the sermon is given to an app like that, and then as a way of developing you can go to this app when you say, Pastor, what did you mean by this point? The AI is able to handle such a situation. So one of the days where you come to church, the sermon was good, but you didn't understand anything. Because in fact, you are even not too strong in your on your Bible, so you cannot appreciate what the pastor said. But you are eager, you're a new Christian, and you want to be able to develop yourself. Such tools are available now that allows us, pastors, to even reach out to their members virtually without having to come to see them. It also means that the long queues that pastors have to endure and meet everybody can, in a way, be, so such tools can be exploited to make it, the burden on the pastors very, reduce it appreciably. Sermon AI. There are tools now that can prepare sermon for you. So some pastors, and I mean, this is one of the tools that the pastors are fighting against because they think it doesn't have the human touch. And so if you start to use such a tool, it will create a lot of, it can create a lot of problems, especially if the person delivering the message is not well vexed on the topic, right? So lazy pastor, you don't want to think too much, you can use a tool like that. But sometimes to maybe busy pastor who did not get the time to prepare his lesson notes and needs a basis. You know, sometimes these tools, I feel they aid you, but they shouldn't replace you. Okay, so it aids you in your ability to do certain things. It gives you a start, then you can build on it. So if you want to, let's say you have to prepare a sermon and you are not ready or you didn't have the time because for good reasons, you were just busy doing different things. And you want to prepare it, it's 11 o'clock, 11 p.m., and the sermon you need to deliver it at 7:30. Such a tool can help you, but it shouldn't replace you, right? And I think this is what it means. Now, this is one of the good ones, I think. AI tools that allows us to, that's the translation. So in the past, what do? The pastor needed a translator to translate the sermon. Now, he could do at least, I mean, you can have 5 different people translating the sermon to different languages. It becomes chaotic, right? With such a tool, now it is as easy as just having your phone connecting to the system, and when the pastor speaks, the app will translate it for you. So you can go to a French country now and go and sit in a church. If you think you're going to do some work, you go to a French-speaking country, you know, how do I even go to church? Now it's possible, easy. You don't need a translator to sit somewhere and translate. All you need is have your phone, your earpiece, and you are good to go, right? This is happening. This is one of the big game changers because then now churches are exploiting it to reach different regions, right? So that you can go. So now Methodist Church can send the pastor to some country and you don't necessarily need to speak the English to preach, right? And these tools are very, I think, useful and it should be exploited. So this is how these are some of the tools that are being used out there. Now, in terms of, so one of the things, as I said, is using AI as a tool for the ministry, spreading the word, and making sure that these tools, your members can exploit it in good ways to develop themselves. So churches should now, or should be able to exploit some of these, because these tools are customizable. So Mount Zion can customize this to a specific need of the church, and then they will exploit that. Another is virtual fellowship. So now we are seeing it. I mean, you don't need to be here to be a part of the fellowship. You can use the internet, basically, and also some AI tools that allows us to build, as a church, build virtual fellowship. Now, if the goal of the church is to reach as many as possible, then some of these tools, I think, can be exploited to be able to achieve that. So we can have now hybrid churches where it's in-person and virtual. People still would want to be associated with a particular church, and they can have that. Maybe I'm a member of Mount Olivet in Dansoman, and I travel out, but I still feel an attachment to Mount Olivet. Now, with these kinds of tools, churches can still connect to their members and still receive different kinds of support for them. Okay, next. What are the limitations of these kind of tools? Obviously, they lack the human touch. It cannot replace. So we shouldn't be afraid to start to look at it. It can never replace the human touch, right? We don't expect to have a robot pastor that will come preach to us, and then when you have some emotional needs, you want to go and talk to the robot pastor. That will not ever happen. And also, it cannot respond to any Holy Spirit prompts. We can agree that as you preach, there is some Holy Spirit prompts that would take you to a different direction, right? So it is not possible for this robot to stand in front of us and still connect to God in the ways that we want it to connect, right? So it means that you imagine a scenario where the pastor cannot say anymore, as I was led, because robot cannot be led by any Holy Spirit. And then lastly, the pastoral care, the empathy. Your pastor, you have a situation how your pastor and church leaders will come to you, talk to you, pray with you. This cannot be replaced. The robot cannot do that. It's impossible. And I think that is what we want to have. What is the future? Whether we like it or we don't like it, we are getting to the age where AI will be so sophisticated that people will now want to have worship at home. So you don't need to only come to church to come and worship. You will come for the human touch. But what if I go home and I want to be in the worship mode? People have started talking about it. This is a technology I saw in a church somewhere in Argentina where they're using virtual reality, right? So virtual reality essentially is creating some form of real-life situation in a device. So what you see there, he's looking at, on the screen, he's looking at people worshiping and having fun with the worship and the songs, right? So you add that, and it creates a whole experience, and this is coming, or will come in the future, to the church. Now, we are also going to see where churches and all the long queues again, people coming to see the pastor, the church leaders running helter-skelter to solve different things. How is this going to be in the future? I'm sure that now, in the future, AI-assisted, access points will be placed all around where people can go and get some help. The help that you get from church, you can get from these different machines. There will be tablets all over that you can ask questions and reach out to people. It's a way, I think it is something that we need to exploit, because the time you need to do things now, the way the world is so distracted by different things, the time is coming where if the church wants to grow, then we also need to leave some of the mundane tasks, the physical tasks, for these machines to help us do. And I think it's not a bad thing to do. Global network of believers. They're going to be, we've seen it. I mean, people like Mopa started on radio prayers. Now the internet carried them, and now they are all over the place. How can churches like ours exploit this in a way to reach our members, right? Where we are creating that fellowship. And this is not just using the traditional internet, but using AI as a tool. So I just show this, that you see all the different kinds of groups using and exploiting AI or the internet to be able to spread the word. Now, this group of people, like I said it previously, are those who were born in the internet age or the digital age, which is called the digital natives. For those of us who were born before it, they call us the digital immigrants. We are now immigrating to the digital space. And so, how can we, as digital immigrants, right, attract the digital natives? This is very key. The only way, because these digital natives live on devices. So how do we exploit them? We need to start thinking about it, right? Where if we don't take care, the natives will go and leave the immigrants behind. And so we need to be able to look at some of these things and making the message now, transforming the message into forms that can be on the devices so that they get interested in it. In fact, we are getting to the point where in future, if care is not taken, the people love the Bible, but they just don't like the whole process of coming to the church. Yeah. How can we make them stay? If we don't make the place digitally ready for them, they'll go away. They'll start to form their own thing, and then before the church knows, we are left behind. Yeah, we are immigrants, so they will not even allow us to immigrate to their world because we are not doing the things that they want from us, and this can be a problem. Yeah. So I think in a more positive way, in how do we frame this AI? How do we frame it to make it very relevant and useful in the church? One, we should remember, churches should remember, the kingdom should remember that AI should not be seen as a whole replacement. AI cannot replace the church. It will never happen. But we should see it for what it is. And there are so many tools. Pick the ones that can help you achieve a certain purpose. Okay? So we don't have to think broadly about it and say, if we start to do this, and then we won't be relevant anymore, it won't happen. I remember in the biomedical space where I work, when we started, because we are trained to design the devices that work in the hospital. I remember there were times where people were saying that now the engineers will replace the doctors. Impossible. How do you, if I can build a CT scanner, but if the CT scanner takes the measurement and the measurement cannot be interpreted by the doctor, how do you get healed, right? So we should have this thinking. How can we select the tools, the plethora of tools out there, and use it in a way that will make the church, advance the church? The idea is to spread the word, to open up the kingdom for people to listen to it. So church should think about how do we use or exploit these technologies to be able to reach people that before we couldn't reach. Also, we should understand that there are so many. I mean, I want to believe that if you talk to any church administrator, some of the tasks are too repetitive. You do it again and again and again all the time. There's no change in it. Recording, yeah. So if we are able to exploit some of these tools to make the task easy, why not? AI should not just be targeted as or be seen as targeting the pastoral work. It cannot happen. But we can use it in ways that will make our work easier and also give us time to do the core work. And so this is very important. Remember, lastly, AI is not outside of God's sovereignty. Whether we like it or not, he's still the boss of bosses. We cannot do anything without him, right? So we should also understand that whatever happens, God is in control. He will never ever let us go into things that will exploit us. So these, I believe, are some of the things that I wanted to share with you in terms of what it means from artificial intelligence and the internet and how it can be used. So in conclusion, the church has always adapted its methods while preserving its message. The message is the same. What we don't want to happen is to deviate from the message to suit AI. We should rather stick to the message and use AI to enhance it. Also, by thoughtfully embracing AI and internet technology, we can fulfill the Great Commission in new ways, reaching the digital world with the eternal gospel while maintaining the warmth of Christianity, a Christian fellowship, and the depth of spiritual formation. So, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that this is where we are. The technology is coming. We shouldn't run away from it. We should stick to it and exploit it in ways that can advance the church. Thank you very, very much.
I'll say, a better round of applause. I think that he has taken us to another level. I told you. So, are you a native or an immigrant? Please, who are the natives here? Okay, so we all need to really wake up because, as said, we cannot be left behind. Okay, so on this note, may I open the floor now for questions, comments. If you have any experiences to also bring to bear, you are welcome to do that. Okay, I think Papa Boafo will do the first. Okay, so those who have comments, contributions, questions, please come to the front row. Thank you very much. So, Papa, it's over to you. But let's give him a round of applause. We thank you. We appreciate you.
Yeah, we want to thank you so much for this kind of education, especially some of us. I'm a true immigrant because I was just telling Willie that 45 years ago when I started my legal practice, we didn't even have photocopy machines in Ghana. So you can imagine, just photocopy machines. We started practicing and there was nothing like that. It took some time before. What is surprising is that modern students that we teach these days, they have all these gadgets and still they are not performing better. I don't know why. Maybe you can explain. But what essentially is the difference between, because this is, if I want to go to, I Google, where can I get food to eat? Even my wife's restaurant, if I Google it, it show me. And the map will direct me to that place without AI. So what actually is the difference? That's my problem.
Thank you. Would you like to take a few more before? Okay. So let's take two more and then he will respond.
Okay, so President Sir, I have these two challenges that I think that we'll be facing as a church, where we'll have AI to want to help us in our work of winning souls, people in the dark into the light. These two things, Scripture says that in Romans 8 verse 14, it says, for all who are led by the Spirit of God. I'm wondering how the Spirit of God will be leading that kind of robot who want to win a soul. So we should be careful about this, yes. because that touch of where the Spirit of God will be leading that individual to Christ will be lost when we don't step in. Stop being immigrants and step in so that we can use it to our advantage, so that the Spirit of God will still continue to lead individuals who want to be there. And then the other challenge has to do with Hebrews 10:25. Hebrews 10:25 talks about, let us not neglect the meeting together. Now, so if we are not careful and we neglect the meeting together, the person says that because already we have statements like people saying that, oh, Nyame was from Akumim. Oh, me, I don't go to church. I know God in my heart, in my small place. I want to worship God. Now, when this thing steps in, it means that we will not be coming to places like this. And then what happens to our church or the chapels we have built? I hear those who go to Abrochi says that chapels in Abrochi, now you go and they are using it for other things because the individuals who go there are old men and old ladies, and they are just about 4 in a whole big edifice. So these two things, we meeting together and then having the feel of the Holy Spirit leading us so we can be children of God. These two challenges, what do you say about it? Thank you very much.
Yeah, hello. Let me just, I think what we want here is AI. First of all, is what is making it possible to even find the direction. 2, what AI will add now is for the experience that people want to have, whether the restaurant that you're talking about will give you. So AI will be able to gather enough information from experiences from different people and shoot your restaurant up, right? So it is a tool that exploits or gives you that added information to take a decision. So AI in this regard is not essentially just or the internet where we have Google Maps and showing the direction is one, but beyond that, how do you attract people to a particular place? And this is through the experience that it can give you, right? And it's about business, so it will enhance your business, right? If a similar analogy is, if you have a church and you want to attract the members, there are pastors who are preaching very well, but the people are just not coming to the church because they don't have the opportunity to listen to the word of God. So AI will bring you, the normal internet search can bring you to the church, but what will actually make you come is what you expect to get from the church, and such is the tool of AI, right? So it's just an added information. Yeah. 2, to your question, like I said, AI is not replacing. It is just supposed to be used to enhance and aid. Okay, so like you wanting to reach the people, he says, I can't come to church. That's one aspect, that they might not come to church. But what of those who are physically not able to come, but they still want to be with you? Won't AI help? Right? So you can't, in every way, just look at one side of it. We should look at the broad spectrum and try to exploit it in ways that will help the church. Do you understand? So you don't, as a church, you don't say, okay, now everything is online, don't come. You can meet your pastor on an app, so don't come to church. Obviously, it's a decision by the church to create that kind of platform. And if you do that, then people will say, okay, if I can talk to my pastor on an app and I don't need to see him, then I don't come to church, right? So there are fears, of course, like yours, they are valid, but we can still exploit the tools for a particular purpose, which can be positive and an advantage, right? So yeah, for both of your questions, I think it's around it. It's all, how do we make sure that the fellowship and also the Holy Spirit and the gathering of the people will be, yeah, we can still happen. So if I want to, I say this church is the church where I like the worship, the atmosphere that I feel. Sometimes it's all about the experience. you can't get every experience virtually. Sometimes you need to be there to experience it. So churches, I think, do more to let the people want to come. And even if you give them, you extend it with AI, they still would want to come because of how you make them feel when they are here. Yes, exactly right. It makes sense. All right.
Thank you very much. Please, there is too much noise in the room. We plead that we try to minimize the noise so that we all benefit from this rich interaction. Please, let's try to minimize the noise. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. I'm just speaking from one of the examples that you said, that you have a model has been built where the model is probably checking those with stroke issues and all that. Recently, I came across, we know from my space, for instance, what I do most. We are now building models, studying behavior of customers, predicting what they will do, what we have to recommend to them. I currently came across a model where people are even checking pitfalls, footfalls to churches. Predicting. Is it becoming a high time where even as a church, we start looking at models, building models, checking even the spirituality of members, checking members' engagement? And is it something so necessary we need to start looking at as a church? Because from your presentation, where we are getting to, it's a high time we start even looking at the behavior and characteristics and other things as far as our members are concerned. Is this something we can start now and start looking into? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Lay President, sir, I'm 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗖𝗓-𝗔𝗟 from Tamale Diocese. Sir, the issue of AI, and I liked the part that you talked about the framing of AI, because I've been thinking with AI, as people call Methodists, we have our own way of doing things. And whether we should consider having a guideline or a document, a framework that will guide us with the use of AI, because we need sound doctrines. The theoretical basis of our teachings, how do we ensure that AI has come to stay? We use AI in everything. Clergy will use AI to assist them, because you spoke about how easy it is for us to get work done when we use AI. In academia, we have limits as to what percentage of artificial intelligence you can use in your work. The same way, as a church, what should be the limit? What guidelines should we have? I want to share something. About 15 or 16 years ago, I remember in our church, a youth member, then we had this devices, tablet, was reading the Bible from a tablet. And he had a challenge. And a senior clergy was there, got up and offered unpleasant comments. And the person felt bad. Such a person, I don't know whether going forward would want to engage the use of AI for anything in the church. Also, I read about a month ago, a student who had petitioned her university for a refund of her school fees. Why? Because she found in the PowerPoint presentation, in the lecture notes, a statement that said, "Can you expand this topic further for me?" Obviously, something that in academia, when we are using AI to assist in preparing lecture notes, we do. And this student felt that if I'm being taught by a tool that I can have on my phone, why should I pay fees? There are other concerns, ethical concerns, data privacy issues, and all that. How do we ensure that we have some guidelines for the church in the use of AI to assist us in our pastoral work, in teaching, and all that?
All right. So let me first answer the two questions here. So, yeah, like I explained during my talk, we cannot run away from AI. How to exploit it is the issue. Will people, so for example, the example you gave, where should we use AI to understand the way people think, the way people feel in the church? Why not? If it will help the work. The goal is, if you want to do that model, why do you want it? Is it that you want it to now be stalking members and identifying the good and the bad members and now using it as a way to favor some group from the other? So what we can do with AI is boundless. But I think the question is, what do you want to use it for? And why do you want to use it? These are the things that we should be talking about. And to answer the last question, yes, the ethical parts of things should be, we cannot, as a church, do or start to implement the AI without guidelines. In fact, our new media policy, we have to consider, in fact, we are considering it from the CPD point, where what are the rules for AI? Some societies are using it anyway, but in different ways that do not have any guidelines. But if we want to have a serious use of the tool, then as a church, we cannot do that without having a proper guidelines, which will then make it even structured in ways that, so something around Methodist AI will be a conversation that we should have if we have to go into this seriously. Because we need to remember, AI as a tool can be used for good and for bad. We cannot leave it in the hands of individual societies even. I feel we should have the conversation from the top as soon as possible and start to send the message down. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Indeed, you have come down to our level. Concern is when you are using it for a research, it will give you the reference. But if you want to download the material, you will not get. So I want to find out how will you be able to get a material, be it PDF or Word format, if you are using it for your reference. Again, is there any way that AI will enhance the work of cybercrime? And if it is so, how can we address it, or how do we solve it as non-professional users of IT? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. This goes to the lay president and then the executives. I think this, the immigrants.
He's not a native, he's an immigrant, so please.
You see, as process, AI is here. Before COVID, we were asking ourselves, how can we work from home? But COVID came, we survived. And after COVID, we continue using Teams and all platforms. It has reduced costs of having outside meetings here and there. My question to management and to 𝗖𝗢𝗨𝗡𝗖𝗓, which is for lay. Last 2 years, under 2 years or so under Lawyer Udro, we printed so much weekly Bible lessons and almanac that we couldn't sell, and that was given to us as a New Year bonus. So, in this age of AI, and where we have a lot of youth among us, can we take a decision to limit printing of weekly Bible lessons? Whether you like it or yes, you print it, someone will download the first one, and it will be on the platform. You will not buy the rest again. So, as a movement, lay movement, we need to take a decision on that. And I like the fact that you just concluded with the ethical AI, because my company, because when you put any data into the AI, where does it go? It goes to that company. ChatGPT is for someone. Elon Musk is developing their own. DeepSeek is for the Chinese. So when you put in this information, it goes to these companies. They have control over your data. So as a Methodist, we need to start thinking about putting a team together to develop Methodist AI. In that way, our data stays within Methodist. Otherwise, very soon, all our data will go to pray for me and all that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So to answer the last two questions, then I come to you. Yeah, it's. I think it goes to, your question goes again to speak to what we were saying. We need to have proper guidelines, okay? Having to put the almanac and all these, the literature on as an app, I think it's conversations that we've had at the CPD level to be able to curb what you said. You print them, nobody buys them. What can we do? So it's something that is being considered seriously. In terms of the last but one speaker who said, if you have the references, you can't download them. That one, nobody can help. You have to just buy or register. So for us in the University of Ghana, we have, the university has its own license that allows us to download some articles. The ones we don't have, we still do the same thing. So I have some students abroad. I send the link to them, they download and they push to me. So you need to find ways. But yeah, it's that one is beyond AI. That's not AI. AI can help you. Cybercrime, yes. I mean, AI, in fact, if you look at it, it is well suited for cybercrime, because cybercrime is crime happening on the internet. And if the AI lives on the internet, then it can study all the trends and try to use it as a tool to solve some of the difficult problems. So yes, it can be done.
Thank you very much, President. I'm Desmond Telebe from 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗖𝗓 Diocese. I want to thank you so much for this opportunity. It's a eye-opener to most of us. I want you to throw more light on the model to treating or managing stroke patients. I didn't get that place well.
Okay.
And again, too, I want to suggest that if possible, if we can put this together to help our Sunday schools and recruit them young. 190 years, we are not small boys. So that is why, by means that we still lack something, that is why we're talking of growth and maturity. And these things together will help us grow. I want to end by saying that it's a very good thing, AI is a very good thing, but as Christians, we should not wholly rely on it. We need to still have time to, this is a spiritual home that you can use physical to handle. And as much as it has come to help us, we need to still have time with our God. It's when we are handicapped, then you seek for help. But when we are not handicapped, we rely on the Holy Spirit. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Gabriel Amponsan, Iphi-Gyase Circuit. My question is simple. The good books makes it clear that we should not conform to the patterns of this world. AI, technology, impacts. AI, technology, impacts seems to be conforming to the pattern of this world. Now, my question is, how would you advise a minister or a pastor who is preaching and saying that AI and technology are ways the devil is using to deceive Christians? Thank you.
Okay, so let me answer.
Please, let's have silence. Some silence, please. Please.
Okay. So to the brother from 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗖𝗓. So yeah, our research is essentially how do people walk when they don't have any sickness or illness or disease affecting them, right? So if you are healthy, there's a way you walk. We know how each step, the length of each step, we know. We know how long it takes you to take 2 steps, and so on and so forth. So this is a study that we do. We gather a lot of this information. We have for university students, we have for senior citizens, we have for that. So we are gathering enough data. What we then will use is when you go to the hospital or you let's say stroke, a stroke patient, and you want to be rehabilitated, you go there, you definitely cannot walk well. It means that because when stroke hits you, what it means essentially is the signal from your brain to where your muscle is gone. So your brain cannot send message to your muscle to move it. Okay, so you see them, they not being able to take the step, they need to go before they come. That is because all the sensors there have been destroyed. So by exploiting AI, you know that we have a huge amount of data, and AI is data. If it sees data, it's happy because it will learn from it. So by using AI, we exploit some of these things. And I forgot the second question. Oh, okay. So we should develop some of these things for children ministry, the tools and exploit. Yeah, of course. I said, I mean, AI and how to use it is a decision that we all should take. It is not. It is. Remember, it is not. I want us to have that to debunk that notion. AI is not coming to force anybody to do anything. How you use it is up to you. So you can use it in a positive way. You do not need to use it in a negative way. So my friend has said that if the pastor says AI is a tool that is the devil is using to destroy the church, I think, in my humble opinion, I want to just explain what AI is not one thing. AI has, as I showed you. So if you are using AI to correct your English, is that a bad thing? It is not a bad thing. If you are using AI to make sure that you can get the format for a letter, it's not a bad thing. But if you want to go and use AI to replace your pastor, then that one is you are now using AI in a different way, right? So AI is, in my opinion, it's not bad. It is how you use it that makes it bad. So if church members see or the church members gang up against the pastor and creates their own AI pastor, then we have a problem there, okay? But as to what people do with it, because technology can never be seen as an attack on the church, then we should stop using the microphone because it's technology. We should stop using TV, it's technology. The pastor drives a car, it's technology. Now his car, he sits in it, and it's able to tell him where he's going. He can charge his phone. It's technology, right? I remember I went to this church and the pastor says even Bible apps on our phones are not the way to go. It's evil. We should have the physical Bible. Then I said, then we should go back to the scripts where they were writing on it with the pen, the scrolls. So you see, we can't look at technology like that. Technology just will help us to, well, even the chairs we sit on is technology. It's not designed, right? So if we take the clothes we wear, it's some technology that produced it. So then we should stop wearing clothes. Then we know that we are going to Adam and Eve days. Then we know this. All right, thank you very much. I think there are 2 more.
I will serve.
Yeah, church.
So my question is, most of the time there's this perception that the elderly in the church have difficulty with technology. And by extension, if you are bringing in AI, it looks like it's going to favor more of the younger ones. And the children who are upcoming more than the the adults in the church. In our church, for example, yesterday the statistics, we realized that the children and the young adults seem to be lower than the mothers who are above a certain age. How do we leverage on AI so that they don't feel left out in the church when AI, maybe the church decides to go fully with AI? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So hold on, since you are the last question, so let me just answer this again. So you see, it's a good question, but you need to also reverse the question and look at it this way. If there are more old people than young people, then very soon the church will be empty. We need to find a way to attract the young people, right? Because the old people will all at some point have to go back to God. So if you look at it that way and say, I am just, if AI comes in, it will be a disadvantage to the elderly, then we've ignored the long-term plans of the church. We need to attract the young people. And if we are, so maybe the young people are not coming because they feel everything is too manual and for their liking. How can the church do things in ways that will bring them in rather? So we should see AI. We can use AI rather than targeting everybody in the church. Design it specifically to attract the young people, right? In that way, you are not cutting off the old people, but you are just bringing in more young people, right? And so that's why I say you can use AI how you want it. So if you have any AI plan for a church, should take into consideration the general conditions in the church, and then you can exploit it. And I've also said AI is not just one thing. So if your church once now says, oh, we want to use the tools that allows us to correct our English, it's AI. If now AI can remember even for the elderly, those who cannot speak English, you can use AI to give them an opportunity to come to a church that's closer to them. So they will say, let's say I live in an area where it's a Ghana society, but the church is closer to it to make me easier for me to go there. Why not? If I can go and there's a translation from Ghana to English or from Ghana to Tree. So I think it's pick and choose the one that fits you, right? Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Let me add something to what you said in connection with the last lady who made her contribution. Yes, you call us immigrants, but age is still a number. It depends upon you yourself. I started going onto the internet using computers in the 90s. And I do all my transactions online, including banking. Just now I went and I had to send money to my son outside with this phone. So maybe you may have to cry for yourself. It depends upon the individual. Some elderly people use internet a lot. Auntie Araba, for example, you all know, uses internet a lot. So it depends upon the individual how you are prepared to embrace it.
Yeah, very good point. Very good point, yeah.
Thank you. 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗖𝗓 from North America. Church, this is conversation, and it must not end here. We need to take it along. Really, I don't see how we can separate church from technology and for that matter, AI. And so the conversation of conforming to the acts of word, I think we have come a long way as a church. A lot of people had made comment on things that I had wanted to talk about, and so I just want to end it this way. Technology, yes, we still cry for. Brother mentioned the weekly Bible lesson almanac. It's about time the Methodist Church Ghana own its own app. Own app, application. That is where we can store our data. We can consolidate our information. And people will come and mine this data for money. Instead of us taking these peanut 5 CDs for weekly Bible lesson, we can earn $1, 50 cents. Look, nowadays people put phone in front of them. They'll be making all nonsense, excuse my word, they want to, and they get paid. They get paid. Number of people that goes to their page, YouTube page, for all these things they do, they get paid. Why can't this money come to the Methodist Church Ghana? We started WTV in a small way. Look at where it is now. So the church cannot really go without technology. So let's embrace this. Let's be open-minded whenever we're talking about technology, and that will help. The churches in Abuja that are dying are the churches that did not adapt to technology. Those that do, they are growing. They are growing. But the churches that thought that this will not help, or the church have no place in technology, those churches are the one dying. For one-man church, we were talking about hologram. There is some churches, one-man church, but then they have it in so many places. They would like to hear sermon from the pastor. When it's 7 o'clock at East Coast, it's 4 a.m. somewhere at the West Coast. But they all want to listen to one person. So the person preaches in one church, but then the hologram is being projected to several churches. They hear same sermon from same pastor. And so let's welcome technology will help. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
I will say
the church.
Brother Fred,
Oh, so what do we say to...
Brother Fred, just before you conclude, I just want to make a practical intervention here. In 2022, there is this organization, 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗖𝗓. I was working with GES. And I tell you, we cannot run away from technology that we are talking about. In fact, I am part of 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗖𝗓, and we are working in senior high schools. And there's a model. You go to the class and observe a teacher teaching. You can put some conversation on the app, and as you observe the teacher, immediately after the lesson, you just input in, and it can give you a number of things that the teacher was supposed to have done and was not able to do to enhance teaching and learning. And after the lesson, you give the feedback. You could see the teacher accepting everything that he ought to have done. So I think that instead of saying that it's evil, let us embrace it. And as all of us are talking about it, let's start the conversation and talk about it and see how we can actually make sure that we don't go overboard to destroy the things that we have, rather than saying that it's evil. So please, let's embrace it and look at it critically. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please, before you sit, I think our director of the lay ministries would like to give a response to one or two issues. A comment.
Yes, I'm so happy about the entire presentation. Let me draw attention to the fact that it is the Bible that has said that at the end of time there will be increase in knowledge. So I believe that these technological issues come in. It's not outside the Bible. So let's come to terms with it. When genetic engineering was coming, the same reactions came from the church. You know, a lot of people said so many negative things about it. But now, you know, that AI has come to stay, artificial insemination. That is another AI. that we have genetic engineering going on at different levels. You see, people are going for all these things and accepted now. You see, so yes, let's take our time. Sometimes when these things are coming, they come like waves. Just blow sometimes out of proportion. But when you relax, you say that it settles, and then we set the parameters and we go. On this, the BBL digitalization, in fact, he mentioned it, is the chairman of that CPD advisory team. And I'm part of that committee. Anytime it comes up, they point at my directorate. But I can tell you that the church has a comprehensive policy to include the digitalization of the WBL. We have completed our side about 3 years before I took office. Yes, but because we are doing that comprehensive application, we have to wait and get on board. And so I can assure you that now the way is clear. Hopefully by January 2026, you see WBL online. But let me say this, until it comes online, those of you, we are the same people. When you get the hard copy, you scan it, and then you send them, to so many places, unlimited. You are sabotaging the work of God. Yes, you are. I attempted, giving the genuine digital version to North America. You are here. Go and tell them. They disappointed me. Under strict, agreement, they gave me all the assurances that they were going to protect it. The moment I sent it to them, by the following week, it was in Ghana. It was in Ghana. So I've told them that I will never give it to them until we clear this application issue. So we are ready. And I can assure you, we are going. And even for lay preachers examination, this very September, we are piloting the digital version with Gamsu. Yes. So we are going. We will get there. Thank you so much.
I will serve. I will serve. Please, what do we say to Prof? Yes, Prof. God bless you. Yamisha for this quality delivery. And I believe that we've all learned a lot. But I'm pleading that it's not just about listening, but it's about actualizing what we have heard today. All of us have phones. So if you don't have anything at all, you start with your phone, explore. There are so many things the phone can do. The phone is not just for calls and WhatsApp messaging. There are so many things. So for some of us here, Lawyer Boafu says that he is an immigrant, but he even does a lot more on the phone. So I charge all of us, whether you're an immigrant or native, there are a lot more we can do. So let's make ourselves, let's be abreast with the time so that we are not left behind. So thank you so much, Prof. And thank you all for being very good contributors and listeners. In fact, we've had a lot of very useful contributions. And I believe that the policy, as has been suggested, is going to be worked on. And I think we are blessed that Prof is chairman of the CPD advisory team. So they will look at it as one of their deliverables within the shortest possible time. So that Methodist Church will have an app that will be very useful. Because these days, a lot of even small companies have apps. And they are using these things to grow. So as a church, I think it's a very good intervention that we need. So thank you so much, and God bless you. May God bless all of us. Thank you very much. On that note, I'll hand over to the lay president.
Just give us some handshake as we dismiss you. God bless you. God bless you. Okay. So on this note, maybe you are dismissed. And thanks so much for coming. Let's clap for him again. Cut. Oh, still dismissed. You can watch it virtually when it's going. Okay, yes. Okay, brothers and sisters, we have one item we want to complete. We wanted to have it before this AI talk. So quickly, you invite the committee. Just be very brief. Don't have too much time.
President, sir, with your kind permission, please, brothers and sisters, the slides will be shared with all of us. They are available. So for those of us who are asking for it, the secretary will do that. I understand that he has even put it on the secretary's platform. So check with your respective secretaries, organizational and assistant secretaries. Thank you very much.